Okay guys, this is part 2, which actually starts the actual painting of the sunset. Alright, I'm going a little slower with this one to show you a few more things instead of just having the paint in the gun. I'm going to show you how I mix my yellow. As you can see here, let me bring this closer. We have pretty beautiful yellow, but it's not right out of the bottle. Okay, so you have to know a little bit about the color wheel. You have to know something about the opposites and taking the chroma out of a color with the opposite, which would be violet. All right, in this case, I'm going to use a paintbrush. I have a little violet to the side, and I'm going to just put a little bit into this yellow. I think I already did put a little bit in before, just a little more, and you could see it. It's very little, and the brush, actually I'm going to wipe it off at this point because I don't want to turn my yellow brown. All right, paper towels here. Okay, here we go. All right, so we have a little bit of the reducer to liquefy this a little bit more. Okay, they're stirring this into the yellow. There's no white in this yellow at all. Now, these little solo cups, which are really nice, you can get them from Restaurant Supply House. I have my white in here. Now I'm going to very carefully add a little yellow to the white. More white, less yellow. Okay? At this point in the game, you can either stir it that way, and if it's liquidy enough, it will stir, you know. And then you can see where I'm going with this. It's way too pale. So now it's just a little bit of the reversal here. And I'll have a brighter but grayer yellow. I'm not trying to do a super photorealistic match. I just want to have, it will look very realistic. It's a sky. You don't have to go crazy as it with some other paintings such as portraits and things. This has a lot of forgiveness. It's your sky. If I want to make those dead-on colors, it takes a lot of painstaking matching. I just want to get close, and I can make adjustments as I go. I'm adding a couple more drops, maybe 3 or 4, to my yellow. And I'm just going to test the waters because it's time to start painting. And when I look at this yellow, I want to make sure, I think I want to take a little more violet to it. All right, I have to be brave. So there's my violet. It's on the brush. I'm just going to kind of dab it in there a little. And then, again, I'm going to wipe off the brush so I don't have too much violet. Strong colors can make a real big difference. It's better to go slow than to go too fast to get what you want here, because it's easier to add than subtract, right? So we don't want to be having to erase and do all kinds of things. Okay, so I'm going to put the yellow in the micron. Just a little bit there, not fill it all the way up. I'm working straight down, which is not my favorite position. This is for the videos. The micron side bottle is great because you can turn the side cup, as you can see, and it won't spill over. So now I'm going to look for my brightest area. And in this case, I wrote a Y standing for yellow to just remind me where I start, just because it is kind of like a puzzle here. This is the area right here, and that's the yellow, the Y, to guide me, okay? Remember, I also said that I was going to darken these branches. Sorry about the shaking camera when I erase. Okay, so it's opaque. It has white in it. It's not going to show the pencil lines through. What I'm going to do is establish an area right here to get something going. Now, if you notice that mark, because this is opaque, it will go away as soon as I coat it out. There's 100%, almost, right about there. And it's way brighter, I think, than I want it, but I don't have my other colors in right now. I can always take my white, which I'll do in a few minutes, and I will start to add some white area to that. Okay, so let's go down below, paint right over the branches. Like I said, it doesn't matter. There are some cloud outlines in here. They're very faint. I don't know if the camera's showing it, but they're just graphite lines telling me where the gray clouds are. And so here we go. We're going to go from here underneath the first cloud. So I'll kind of outline the cloud. And again, I don't care if the cloud's in the exact same spot. It's a lot of forgiveness when you're doing a landscape. Okay. Air dry a little. And much brighter, much stronger than I want. So I'm going to add, right now, while I'm doing this, I'm going to add more white to my original color. You might say I might over whiten it at this point because it doesn't matter. I have way too strong of a yellow, and I'm just making an adjustment as I go. Okay, so I'll blow out the little bit in the gun into the iwata. I guess it's a pot that catches the overspray. Really helps too, because this is not my ventilation desk that I have at my son's store. This is just a fan in the window, which I'm not using right now because it'd be too noisy, and home setup. So I have two places that I work with the airbrush, and this is my house. Okay, so I'm going over it with the white. I'm kind of lightening the yellow a little bit, hiding the pencil lines, which is nice. Kind of pale yellow. And I'll go in here. This was the lightest yellow, so I'm going to even go on. I'm going to spray onto the green just to show you how this can cover. I'm going to cover this on purpose really heavy right here. Okay. The reason why I chose to draw the picture and paint the sky, usually you do the background first and you come forward. In this case, these are light colors. I feel I can get away with, still seeing them, such as right there. And as long as there's a ghost of it and I'm happy with the color, then I'm good to move along. Now this particular yellow is the lightest yellow, so it's probably too light. See the word yellow here? Because you get lost, especially when you're not working like straight up and down the way it would be on an easel. I do. I mean, I'm having trouble. I'm bent over. I'm trying to film this at the same time. I'm trying to look at my work, and it's just a little harder for me. Okay. So we've got our yellow coming in nicely. We've got our gray cloud. Let's see. We've got yellow. Then we'll have more yellow up here above this cloud. I'm going to leave the gray areas open just for now. I don't have the gray mixed up. All right, crashing right into the tree branches because it doesn't matter. It's all going to come together. I'm going to spray up in here a nice little light. Now I still got to get rid of the pencil lines, and I can, especially spray beyond the area, and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, obviously down here we've got the nice orange, but in reality there's yellow behind it, so I'm going to put this in right here. The lighter color can be behind the darker color. Okay, it's just one layer over another, and of course you don't want to go from the dark to the light. or you'll have a real problem with color shifts and things that will not be pleasant and will be a lot of work. Okay, so looking at this picture here, we're going to have some yellow over here. And if I remember correctly, I think we've got a few. I'll just take, I think this one is gray, and then there's a couple. So I'll just put a little yellow there. Again, I need to see the outline a little. And then I'm going to open this up with, this is going to be orangey after I kind of started with a base. Okay, so again, we're just laying in colors. I'm going to go for some more yellow. Just a little bit right in here. And even if I spray too much and cover areas that I think should still be the dark midnight green, that's what I'm going to use, a real dark green, not just black for the silhouette, because in reality that will look like a hole in the painting. I feel the color, a deep holly green with hunter green or whatever I make up with the added red to gray it, and then some black, and deepen it, but still have a color. Okay, we'll show that in probably the other videos, but right now we're going with this. I'm hiding some pencil lines. It's opaque, so they don't really stand a chance against the cover. It's a covering paint, so if it was all transparent out of the bottle, then it will not do what I'm doing here. Air dry, second coat, air dry. Pencil lines are just about going away. On purpose right now, I am going to spray right over that. I'm just trying to show kind of why I chose to leave. It's really not burying it, and that's great, but let's just say it was. Okay, nice thing about this paint is it's drying pretty quick. I have a hair dryer. I could hit it if I want to speed it up, but just for showing you a little example of establishing the drawing. And even if it was these little guys here that come out that aren't even in the drawing yet, they'll be put in. I'll probably use a conventional brush to do that part. You can have a lot of fun doing landscapes. It's what I did before I airbrushed. I painted a lot of oil paintings and stuff, and so I always enjoyed it because it's very forgiving in the sense of not having to worry about, oh well, a tree is a tree. I mean, you got to make it look good, but if you are going for highly realistic or hyper or super realistic, and other words would be hyperrealism, then you have to pay attention to every little detail, every color, everything has to be there to make you fool the eye that it's photographic. My goal is to make it look very realistic, photorealistic looking to some, but to others with the super trained eye, even some of my students, and of course my teacher, Drew Blair, you're talking about a whole nother ball game, but you're talking about a style that is well worth it if you can master it. Right now, I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm getting closer, but I've gotten some nice compliments that my work looked very real, and sometimes they say, oh, that looks like a photograph. But being around the best of the best and other photorealists and people that paint to look like it's a camera to fool the eye, I humbly step aside and say, this is where I'm at, this is what I can do, but I love it, I'm having a great time, and I thank all my teachers out there for teaching me what I do know. And now I'm a teacher that teaches people to learn what they can from me and then to go to somebody better. Why not? And that's just part of the learning process. If you get around some artists that are really, really almost freaky good that you can't even handle it, then you really probably are going to have a problem getting better. You have to get around the best in order to get better. All right? And that's just the way it is. Okay, so this is where we're at this point. Now, everything that's like this color here, the so-called yellow in this area, I can lighten that. I can do that right now with some white right on top of it, because the branches, they're so dark, they're going to make the lighter areas lighter, much lighter anyway. So spray it on a piece of scrap paper, and I'm going to just kind of put, there's almost like a whitish sun area right in the yellow, kind of like a white glow right there. So it's kind of making the yellow all around it. And the nice thing about it is you can go back in later and you can tint areas, especially with the transparents. You can do whatever you want. It's your painting, and transparents are great for the purpose of, like, I wouldn't paint a sky with the transparents. It'd be all blotchy. I make my blue sky, my gray cloud. I'll make that color because it'll go on very solid. Sooner or later, it will cover. You're at hit and miss when you're using transparents because they're fast. They're very fast, and I do paint with them, and depends on what I'm trying to paint. But you could sacrifice some pretty nice accuracy, and you can get some blotches, and they're great for erasing. The transparent is great for erasing, but the opaque at a certain point isn't, because it becomes very, hardened, and it's just not easy to remove the paint. I'm going to take a little bit of my yellow, still keeping the same palette. I'm going to add, I'm guessing at this, I'm going to add a little bit of burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is in the orange family, as you can see. To put bright orange in there would be a little bit too bright. I don't want highly saturated colors. I don't want to paint out of the bottle, strictly out of the bottle, because I'll end up with just super saturated colors that are not my style. Now, that's not to say that's not good if it's your style. There's people that paint very bright colors. Okay, I'm taking and they do it on purpose because that's the style they want, abstract or whatever. There's a time and place for it in some of my paintings. There's really neat abstract things that go on. Okay, I'm taking the needle out a little bit. Time to get some of that white off of it. Okay, now we're going to put that back in there. And I could feel there's going to be a little cleaning going on after these colors. I'm going to do a little test spray out here just to watch the changeover. I don't know if you can see that. Let me bring it in here a little more. There we go. Now if you look at the painting, this is where the fun starts to happen. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to come down by the darkest gray cloud, which I don't even know is even in this picture completely, because this this device here has a band, like a strip across it, blocking the blue-gray cloud, and I have to just kind of remember that. I don't know what it is. It's like a bar holding all those other white icons that tell you what to do with that. Okay, so, and explaining that a little better, if you look real close above that, you'll see the cloud. There it is. There it is. So it's kind of dropping in. So it's not that. It's got to be worked through. Okay, so I've got that burnt sienna orange in there. Now, the opposite of orange is blue, and that can really make a really nice brown, dull color that depends on how you want to do it and how you want to put it in. I'm ignoring the gray. At this point, I think I will erase the actual cloud line here, if I can. It's still erasable because it's in a late stage. So I'll see the cloud in a white form. Okay, this is an older, more worn out eraser. I love these erasers. They're very, they go on the end of your pencil, and they have a grip on them that takes paint off really, really great. It's just got like a friction, a grip to it. But anyway, you can see where I'm kind of cleaning that up. I'm not going to do a lot here because you can see how I can clean up the pencil lines before they get too buried. And if they get completely buried, sorry for the shaking camera, then that's okay because the opaques will cover the lines. But in this case, one more time here up front, this cloud is going to get very out of focus and kind of blend right in to the yellow area. Okay, so the camera's going to shake a little. All right, so there. That's just a little better for now. All right, so now I can fire, and remember the cloud down here is the blue-gray cloud. Almost looks like a mountain. And if I wanted to, I could make it into a mountain. That's the nice thing about the freedom of painting a, I will lighten this line too. The freedom of painting a landscape is, unless you're really trying to make somebody's, building or something that would mean so much to them, painting a picture of somebody's house. I used to paint a lot of, not paint the house, but paint a painting of the house. Artistically, they might want every shrub and they want the color of the house. They want that because that's their home and they know what it looks like. So anyway, now we got this orangey, very soft though, starting to go in, okay? And it lives kind of in this area. I can make, point to this, I can make that little, can find it by looking at this. I can make that little dark spot with even the wrong color. It's got kind of the gray in it, but I can kind of sketch it in a little, put a little color there. And again, because there is orange under it. And then it has this nice, and I'm farther away, getting, I want some of the yellow to still show through, so I'm kind of, playing with distance with this. There's going to be a glow up in here, around that cloud, and there's going to be a little hint of, not a pure yellow, but not as dark down here, so I'll kind of just do that. So we can still see some yellow. Now you can kind of see, then there's going to be orange over. When I look at it, I'm looking at it actually more through the cell phone, which is on a holder, okay, and that's up here. This has actually got much more oranges and stuff that are not showing in the picture. So that's why I painted this area. When I look at it here and I look at it on the cell phone, this is more orange than you're seeing it even. Okay, so again, it's, now I'm going to find that gray cloud there. I'm going to just go along here and have a glow waiting off of the gray cloud. And I want to fire some more orange here. And just, feather strokes, just keep it all going. And it's going to get much more intense orange in here, even more than this. So at this point, let me get some orange, or let's try, let me try a little bit of transparent right out of the bottle. Now this is risky. As you can see on here, it really enhanced it, but it will get darker because the more I spray it. So right in this area, whoops, it's trailing. Pull out the needle a little bit. That means the paint is coming out when it's only pressing down on the air. And you don't want that. Now it's behaving. As you can see, behaving. There's air only. Air on, paint on and off, okay? So did I get too crazy here when that kind of shot out? Well, there's my yellow area. Okay, the yellow area kind of got ruined a little bit. And it's good to see the mistakes because there's ways to fix things, and I can show you that. And you can paint with confidence that you will not ruin your painting.